Hello everybody, this is Matthew. Today is July 8th, 6:15 p.m. We're going to go on a walk today. This is a university neighborhood here, right next to University of Nevada, Reno. And it's only about a 10-minute walk, but a lot of people choose to drive this distance, and driving takes almost just as long. So the goal of today's video is to walk the route, and from an urbanist point of view, from a transportation perspective, transportation engineering and planning, we're going to figure out why somebody would choose not to walk this route. So first of all, we can see one side of the street doesn't have sidewalks, and the other side of the street does, but kind of haphazard. It's not an inviting place to walk. So without further ado, let's get going. I'm crossing diagonally here, which is technically illegal. I should be crossing at this intersection here. But since I'm a pedestrian, I'm always interested in going the shortest route possible. Got a typical sidewalk here. It's about 4 feet wide, comfortable for one person, but two makes things a little bit close quarters and not as pleasurable of an experience as it could be. Right now we're on College Drive. Just passing. What street is this? Not sure. It doesn't have a name. It's a pretty steep sidewalk. Definitely not ADA accessible right here. So now we're coming to a large barrier in our walk. This is Sierra Street. It can be classified as a minor arterial, and it's really busy. So let's try to cross. We're gonna push the button. Really not a great experience here. This car stopped. This one did, so the cars are pretty nice, but still high speed. Can probably go about 40, 50 miles an hour through this corridor without any problems. Oh, and we got a car blocking sidewalk here, so we're gonna kind of scoot around. We got some utilities. They decided to place right in the middle of the sidewalk here. Utilities first, pedestrians second. Appears to be the motto in this situation from the city. Pretty narrow street here, which is good. Two parking on one side, two-way travel. Slows traffic down. Look at this long sidewalk. This, to me, represents lazy street design, they could have really narrowed these distances, makes it more comfortable. Do some bulb outs for the crosswalk areas. And so that was one of the more interesting parts in terms of scenery, in terms of houses along the street, because this is an old neighborhood, but the roads have been updated to have more parking and thus wider. Most of these streets had the sidewalk is in the same place, but for example, where this car is, there would be a planting strip as a buffer between the street and the road, street and the sidewalk. Oh, we got let's pause here before we cross. So this is one of the dorms here, newer. You can see there's no entrances. There are windows. There are no entrances or anything that gives the pedestrian a better experience, a more interesting experience. And it just is empty space, blank space. And as a pedestrian, it's really important for our trip to be rewarded in some way. How can a trip be rewarded? One of the ways is to pass by a restaurant or a bar and eat something, or if the architecture is significant, it can provide us with interesting sights along the way, beautiful buildings, for example. We also have a lost opportunity for shade on this area. Right now it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It's evening, so it's not too warm, but shade is always appreciated for pedestrians. It just makes the experience much more comfortable. And we have a large street here. This one to me is not as much of a barrier, because we have the pedestrian signal here. Still a pretty wide crossing. And the pedestrian recall and rest and walk is on, which means the pedestrian sign always turns on during the day, so there's no need to press the button and no need to potentially miss your window of opportunity to cross. Now we're on campus. Not too much to see here, just a lot of when the school is in session. This is the music building on my left. You can sometimes see the musicians practicing in the rooms. And on the right of us was a gym. The old Virginia Street gym now is offices and volleyball. The ramp here is better. Since it's the summer, not many students are around. Still not too much to see or do around us, which just doesn't make it very exciting to walk. We have stairs here. There's an elevator if you wanted to go in the building, or we could go a slightly other way to avoid the stairs. but for me it's not an obstacle, the stairs by itself. But it's nice this is all pedestrianized. It gets really busy during this semester. Makes it more interesting when people are around. Some green space here, but unfortunately there's no function. Besides it looking a little bit nicer, it doesn't provide me any public space, any space to use. So I'm not going to see people reading or hanging out or eating lunch in that area. You will see people hanging out over here, which is nice. Benches. In the evening it's got some nice shade. Some local plants, the desert roses. So we're going to the Harry Reid Engineering Laboratory just ahead of us. This road here is only for delivery vehicles and facilities services vehicles. We have the heating plant to my right, which heating and cooling, which is essential for the university, but they could use this area towards the pedestrian street to provide something beneficial for the pedestrians. Shops, places to sit, shade, even meeting rooms. Alright, so we've arrived. Pretty short. We have some parking here. Parking usually fills up, but in the evenings it's free. So if there's free parking on both sides, there's even more of a want to drive between the two areas. Alright, thanks for joining me. See you next time.